All right, let me see if I can get rid of scale a few things down so we can run a little bit more smoothly. And so I will start by sharing my window, the Finland client. All right, can you see the Cosmos with the two web pages?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
You may
so
want to increase size a little bit if you can.
let me see, display settings. This might be a little bit big, but better a bit big than a bit small, I think.
Yeah, this is definitely good.
All right. So what I will first do is I will demonstrate I'll demonstrate the on-demand application, how you get to our studio on demand. So I don't know much R coding. I hope that in future versions of this seminar, we'll have more LUNARC staff helping with this, and that one of those staff will be well-versed in R. I know a couple of people who are. I'm more of a Python and Matlab user. But anyway, I can show you how to start our studio with the on-demand applications. So what's nice about LUNARC is that we have these on-demand applications where we can, through a graphical interface, you can set all the, you can schedule an interactive session like a Slurm session, so that you can work interactively, but it's running on the backend nodes or the compute nodes rather than tying up the handful of login nodes that are used by all of the users to tunnel through to the compute nodes. So all the on-demand applications are up here in this little corner list, applications, and the ones that can be used to send your interactive job to the Slurm system so that it runs on the back end are all of these options that are prefixed with applications. So if you're interested in R, you go over here to this applications-R, and then you find the nearest version that you want to use. Right now, the versions that we have, I believe they both run R 4.4.1, but let me try this one and see if it's the one that runs the next newest edition on our system, which is R 4.3.2. When in doubt, favor the CPU versions, because what they do is that they select for nodes that are CPU only, which does somewhat limit the graphics support, but there are a lot more nodes of this type, and they're a lot more efficient. They have more cores, so they're easier to get, they're faster, and they tie up fewer resources for others. So you should, when in doubt, choose this unless you're going to be making plots or graphs or other graphics. And then you want to use one of these ones that does not have a CPU after it. So I'll start with this. What this will do is launch this menu called the GFX launcher. It was developed by our department chair, Jonas Lindemann. And this is sort of a graphical version of the text that you would find at the top of a bash script. So where you would say, you know, S batch in tasks per node, or all of those kinds of commands. You can set here. You can set here at these various menu options. So the wall time here, you can select from this menu, or since this is a CPU application, you can type in up to 168 hours. Obviously, we don't want to do that here with this instruction, but anyway. If you want to change the number of tasks per node, you can go here and pull up this little gear icon. And it'll pull up the second menu where you can give your job a name. That'll help you keep track of it if you wanted to look at it with the command line instead. Here you can change the number of tasks per node. If you click memory, you can choose how much of any one particular core to use. If you click full node, that means that you will be occupying all of the cores on a single node. So for one of these CPU nodes, that's 48. For the other nodes, that usually ends up running on an Intel node that has, I believe it's a 32 core version, unless it's one of the ones with the A100 chips, but those are usually set aside for other purposes. Then you can also click this use reservation. Here it's automatically filled in a reservation number that's associated with the project number. I'm using the student project number here because the reservation label right now is only valid for that project. The teachers don't seem to have a reservation associated with this, unfortunately. There's a lot of issues configuring this earlier in the week, but anyway. So I'm going to deselect this. I'm going to start 2 tasks per node just for the heck of it, because I'm not actually going to be doing anything once I actually pull up the R. I'll set the wall time to 30 minutes. What's under more here? So that's not it. Sometimes for some applications, you'll see an additional menu option down here that's below the project number that says job settings. And in those applications, you can click that job settings and it'll bring up an extra window that'll allow you to load additional modules. That's something you should only use if you really know what you're doing and make sure that you know that what you're about to run is compatible with the application, with the main application. But if you know what you're doing, and you have to do it, by all means, that's what it's there for. So now that I've got all the settings where I want them to, what I want them to be, I would just click start. And a little green color indicates that it was accepted and scheduled, and there we go. Now we have our studio available. And this is running 4.4.0. Okay, so if you go back under the applications menu, the 24.04.2 versions will run R 4.4.1. I tested that earlier today, just to make double sure. And these two, which I selected this one here, these are running R 4.4.0. Unfortunately, we do not have an R Studio for R versions of 4.3 or lower. So while you're in the R console in R Studio, one of the things that you can do is that if you need to install your own R extensions, you can do that in your home space. And once you're there, first you have to have made a directory in your home folder for R. But once you've made that, then you can just, in R, you can type something like, you can use this command to concatenate your custom directory or prepend your custom directory to the library paths. And then you just click, install packages as normal. You can see a little demo here that was written by one of the other application experts, Joachim. But I've used this same procedure to install, as an application expert, I have actually used the same, essentially the same procedure to install our packages to custom directories within the software server. So this is, I guarantee you that this procedure works. Let's see. Is there anything else here? Oh, yes. If you always intend to add, if you always intend to build submission, or sorry, if you always intend to install additional R extensions to your home directory or to a directory in your home space, then what you can do to avoid having to repeat these two lines, this first line over and over again, just skip straight to the installation or modification. Then you can add to a Slurm submission script, or although this is not quite as recommended, your bash profile. You can add this export rlibs, and that will replace the the library location for your R scripts with the name of your chosen folder. So that's about all that I can cover with my experience with R. If you want to, so when you're running with these, when you're running on demand, one thing you should always keep track of is make sure you do not close this this GFX launcher window, because if you do, the job ends immediately. And also it's important that you monitor this progress bar, because that shows you how much of your wall time you've used. So when you get to like 99%, you've only got 1% of your original time left, which in this case would be, if you've got 10% of this left, it would be 3 minutes. You would have 3 minutes left. Or if your usage was at 90%, then your wall time would be down to 3 minutes, is what I'm trying to say. Now, if you decide to end your program early, by closing as normal, sometimes this doesn't always stop on its own. And if you do, you should click this. If that is the case, you should click the stop button, because that will free up more resources for other people. So you should always make sure that once you've exited your application, that you check in this GFX menu that it is stopped before you close. Let me close this. What else can we do here? If for some reason you want to run an R program in a batch script, but you want to leave open the possibility of that you might have to work a little bit interactively first, you can open a terminal that works mainly on the back end as well. Like for instance, this CPU terminal. This one is generally applicable. You can open this anytime. These two, you typically need a reservation. So since we have a reservation, I'm going to click this. And these are very highly in demand. So if you can make do with less than a full node, that's a good idea. I'm going to drop it down to 16, and I'm going to click our reservation. and deselect full node. Select OK. And sometimes for some applications, you can choose different partitions. For this one, it's automatically selected for you. So let's see how long this takes to start. It's a bit small because this is my, so I don't really know why it's quite this small. Oh, it's because of the, it's poorly adjusted to the scaling of my monitor. But anyway, that's me. I can CD to like documents. Oops. It was supposed to be the backspace button I was hitting. CD documents / exercises / R. Okay, what did I mess up there? Exercises. Because it's lowercase. So then LSR. See all the programs in there. And now if I wanted to, I could just run a batch job right here. So let's see. Let me take a quick look at, say, where's one that's got GPU support? I'll just click this serial Cosmos program. Take a look at what needs to be added. Anything? Does not look like anything needs to be changed except to add the reservation. So I will do that very quickly right now in Emacs. So then I will type sbatch and type reservation equals rpjm-course. Save. Close this, and then I will just submit that to sbatch. r/ serial Cosmos, and there it goes. And I can look at the SQ and see it running. My username. It probably already ended, so is why it's yes. So yes, it was over quicker than I could check for it in the queue. So let's see what it says. Less slurm dash 1932 and stuff like that out. Oh, that's because I was in the wrong directory. Okay, so let's cdr and try this again. The output. And I will just type that in 630. There it is. So there's our output. And since I'm done here, I will quit this and we'll sometimes it hangs a little bit for a couple of seconds unless you hit the enter button. Anyway, so I will quit out of this terminal. Oops. exit is the correct command. As you can see, it's still going, so I need to stop this. And now I will close this. And that's it. That's a way to run, that's two different ways to run your R code on LUNARC.